I'm going to throw this out there right now. And you know, if I'm saying this, it's got to hold some weight. I don't think what just happened to Florida State is right. When I tell you all this, you guys are going to sit there and go, wait a minute. What? I actually agree with you, Matt. This doesn't make any sense. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Wednesday. Hope all of you having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. We got a couple previews on the slate for today. Be on the lookout for those videos. We got Alabama versus Vandy. We got Miami, the U, versus the Seminoles. But first things first, we got to talk about what just happened to Florida State. They are one of, if not the most polarizing fan base program in all college football. You either love them, which means you're a fan of them. If you're not a fan, you probably hate these guys. Rightfully so. Their fan base has been the most annoying fan base in all the nation past couple of years or so. It really started after that undefeated season where they were crying about, we should have been in the playoffs, where we all know they shouldn't have been in the playoffs. It's as plain and as simple as that. I don't care that you're undefeated. Did you see your backup quarterback? Did you see your offense? It was booty juice. They wound up causing a huge scene over there. The half of the players opted out of the bowl game. They were crying about it, and Georgia obliterated them 63-3. You got beat by a 60 burger. You hate to see it. I'm being sarcastic if you couldn't tell. You love to see it. They got what they deserved. I'm not going to get into that too much. We talked plenty about it when that situation was going on. Also, around that time frame, them and Kirk Herbstreit, they were going at it. I think even to this day, Herbstreit hates them, and they hate Herbstreit. As we know, the following season, which was last year, they had the Ooga Badoogie experience, but I think he was a scapegoat because that team from top to bottom wasn't that good. They wound up going 2-10. It was bad. Very, very, very bad to say the least. Fast forward time into our current day. Here we are. They open up the season with the amazing win. We got to clap it up to them. Clap it up to the Seminoles. Couldn't have got off to a better start. You upset number 8 ranked Alabama at home. Great win. It wasn't like that was a fluke or anything. Florida State on that day was the much better, not just better, but the much better team. The game wasn't even that close at the end. So big shout out to the Seminoles for that impressive performance. And immediately, the fan base and everyone around that program affiliated with them, they started getting some of their swagger and mojo back. You couldn't just feel it. You could see it and you could hear it all over social media. The Florida State fans, they were back like they never left. They were talking their talk. I can't really be mad at them too much because they were the butt end of every joke last year. They were ridiculed. They were embarrassed, and maybe that's even understating it. So, of course, when they get any amount of success, they're going to be the first ones to be tooting their own horn. What makes it even worse is it's not like they had some impressive win over some unranked team. You beat a team that nobody really outside of, I think, Lee Corso was the one who picked them, expected you to win the game. I did state in my preview I thought it was going to be closer than what most people thought. I still picked Alabama to win, but I most certainly didn't think Florida State was going to win by double digits. And I know how that fan base was last year. They were like, all right, yeah, you're kicking us when we're down, but just wait till we start winning. Just wait till we're up again. We're going to let you hear it. It was a perfect storm. They're coming off of one of the most horrendous seasons you're ever going to see from a Power 4 program. To go on top of that, they upset a team that was ranked inside the top 10. When you take all that into account, it was quite inevitable that Florida State fans were going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not obnoxious. I mean, you could use that one. What is that word? I'll make this a 50-minute video. It's driving me crazy. I'm going to have to remember it. Oh, yeah. It's hard to deal with. Yeah, intolerable. Yeah. That's what they were going to be. I'm going to divert back to this. I don't even mind Florida State fans getting a big head because you knew if they were going to beat Alabama, they were going to do so. It should have been expected. Fast forward in time a little bit, the Seminoles get a couple of cupcake wins, and I told you in the preview, you better watch out for this game. I think it's going to be close. It's your stereotypical trap game. They had a matchup with the Virginia Cavaliers on Friday night, the week before the Miami game. If you were to Google what is the definition of a trap game, I'm almost certain there'd be a picture of the Florida State-Virginia matchup right next to it. I'm not trying to make excuses for them. It's reality, whether you like it or not. And Florida State fans, if you want to take it as a positive, go right ahead. That was the most, what's a good way of saying this, trappish trap game, is that even a word? I don't know. We're going to roll with it, of all time. Oh, yeah, forgot to throw in there. It was on the road, too. I watched a post-game press conference with Castellanos where he was talking about, we were smelling ourselves a little bit, insinuating, they were getting a big head. They were getting a little cocky, and maybe this loss was good for them. Speaking of losses being good for you, I think, and this is an unpopular opinion, that Florida State loss for Alabama was good for them. Losses can be good for college football teams. We've seen over the many years. It humbles these kids. It brings them back down to earth, and you lock in, and you get back to focusing on the fundamentals and the details. I can tell you this much. The way Florida State looked against Virginia compared to the Bama game, I watched both of them from start to finish. I rewatched them multiple times, watched film on the games. night and day difference. You want to talk about crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's? That's what they did against Alabama. Against Virginia, not so much. The offense was okay against Virginia. The only thing that held them back is the turnovers. The defense, no, they were atrocious. They were abysmal. But that's what defenses do in trap games. They don't hit as hard. They're not focused on their assignment as much. You're just not locked in, and that's the easiest way to dumb it down. They were locked in to play Alabama. Why? Because it's Alabama. They had a point to prove. They had a chip on their shoulder. When you're playing Virginia, you don't have anything to prove. You don't have that chip on your shoulder. Therefore, your play comes down a little bit. They wind up losing a heartbreaker in double overtime. They almost won the game. I thought it would have been cruel if they would have, because Virginia, they were the better team that night. Squirrel White gets stampeded in the end zone. Can somebody check on him? I hope he's okay. And here we are. Florida State, they drop all the way down to number 18. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. 18 in the AP poll. And that is actually the main reason I'm making this video. How far did they actually drop? Let me pull this out to be exact. Okay, got it right here. They went from number 8 to 18. 10 spots. Highly disagree. I'm going to throw this out there right now. And you know, if I'm saying this, it's got to hold some weight. I don't think what just happened to Florida State is right. Let me explain. We already talked about the Virginia game. Y'all get the point. You lost to a not so good Virginia team, right? I don't think they're a top 25 team. But here's my dilemma with the AP nerds and my problem with them. They have Virginia ranked inside the top 25. So you are telling me, AP dorks, Virginia's a top 25 team. When I tell you all this, you guys are going to sit there and go, wait a minute. What? I actually agree with you, Matt. This doesn't make any sense. Let me ask you a question, Timothy and Bobby. Do you think losing to a top 25 team on the road in double overtime is a quote-unquote bad loss? I can't speak for you, but I don't think so. Let's continue along here, though. The AP nerds are also telling us that Alabama is a top 10 team. Do you know who beat Alabama? The Seminoles. I'm not saying Florida State should be ranked ahead of Alabama. I don't have them ranked ahead of Alabama in my rankings. But here's another question I'm going to propose to you. Are we just going to act like the game didn't happen? That's what it looks like to me. Are we really going to discredit the Florida State win over Alabama this quickly? It's only been a few weeks. And here's what's so head-scratching. If Alabama would have lost to Georgia, I would not be making this video. It'd make total sense. We'd go, oh yeah, that Florida State win over Alabama, not impressive. But they beat Georgia. That win now looks 10 times more impressive than it did before the Georgia game. Alabama looks like a really good football team, and Florida State beat them by 14 points. And you're trying to tell me they're the 18th best team in the country. You're dropping them 10 spots. The same team that has a win over Alabama, one of the best wins of the season. I don't understand it, man. If they would have got blown out by Virginia by 24 points, maybe a little bit. But for us to sit up here and act like the Alabama game didn't happen and Florida State hasn't looked great all year long, it's just ridiculous to me. And who knows, they may go out here the next few weeks. They may go out here against Miami and lay an egg, but that's not the point. The point is they shouldn't be 18th right now. The only thing that would kind of make sense, I think it is the only argument you have, is if you want to tell me, well, Matt, I think that win over Alabama, it was a fluke. That is the only thing I can point to. But even that's flawed logic, because you can say it's a fluke all you want, but the bottom line is they still won the game. And if you want to get into the nit and gritty, I mean, we're getting deep into the rabbit hole. Saying it's a fluke is another flawed argument. Because at that point in time, you are assuming that Florida State's going to not be a good football team the rest of the year. And you can't assume with these rankings. You have to rank these teams based off of what we've seen up until this point. I don't think the AP nerds are doing a good job of that. Here's my rankings. I got Florida State at number 10. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Why is Penn State ranked ahead of Florida State? Did you know Penn State doesn't have a Power 4 win this year? Yeah. Not just, oh, they don't have a top 25, but they don't have a Power 4 win. I'm not going to disregard Florida State after one conference road loss and double overtime. Can't do it. But I can disregard Penn State up until this point because they haven't won a Power 4 game. If you got Florida State lower me, that's fine. But anywhere outside the top 15, come on, man. What are we doing? That win over Alabama, it holds a ton of weight for me. We haven't even gotten this too much. Let's talk about it. What are they going to do if they upset Miami? They're going to jump them back up from 18 to number... well, crap. Now here's another dilemma. If they beat Miami, do you put them back in front of Alabama? How would you do that if Alabama beats Vanderbilt? That's the problem for the AP nerds. They've put themselves in such a bad situation. For example, look at my rankings. If Florida State goes out there and looks really impressive, they curb stop Miami, and Alabama wins but barely over Vandy, I have no problem with putting Florida State over Alabama due to the head-to-head, and you couldn't even really complain about it too much because, look, I still have Florida State inside my top 10. It wouldn't be that insane of a jump. But if the AP nerds try to put Florida State from 8 to, let's just say, 8 or 7, it's like, dang, what's up with all the flippy-floppy? I mean, they're going down 10 spots, up 10 spots. It's just super inconsistent. Maybe some of y'all disagree with me. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. But